the Gospel happens to be about the question of marriage, but also about the question of not marrying. The end of it is that the Lord does propose this other way of giving oneself to the Lord entirely, body and soul, time and material property as well. And that is not indifferent. It is freeing. If one looks at a family situation, anyone will tell you that it is complicated. There are so many things to think about all the time, even at night. And so one understands why the Lord, and after him the Church, proposes also the other way. And if entered upon with joy, it does give freedom, because then one is bonded only spiritually, totally to the Lord, and one's mind can, if one doesn't reclutter it, be free. With regard to the stage at which most of you here are at, the in-between, that of growing up, that also has to be looked into. The choice is yours. You can have your time, your mind, filled with all kinds of things all the time, or you too can have freedom. Quite a lot of you here are having to handle exams, books, all your free time in practice if it's serious. You will find that there, the less your mind is full of complication, the better you will do, the higher you will score. Just be aware of that as you grow now into adolescence and later youth going to eventual higher studies, that this is the big one. You have to face it. If your choice is to use the time that hugely comes available when you're alone to, e.g., watch a screen which is not containing your study, and even worse, to engage with the outside world through it, through internet, a lot, or to play games with it, then be aware that it's going to have an impact on your results. Why? Because the mind can't do equally well many things at the same time, as it would do the same things if there were fewer in number. The mind was not made to hold all right now that the young minds of today are trying to make it hold. It can't cope. So something is going to yield, and in practice it's going to be the quality of study, as well also as the quality of relationship, both between the soul and God, and between the soul and its friends and daddy and mammy. If you look what the young people are doing, they're not directly communicating as well as they might do, because they are more interested in what's before them on the little screen. Now be careful, because you're only here once. Remember that bit before it happens. Don't damage your relationships. Friends are friends when they're given all your attention when you have them before you, and when you show that they mean more to you than someone who's not present, but virtually present on a screen before you. It's rude when that happens. Now, I want to zoom in for a second into the question of marriage itself, because it also concerns you as you grow through life and grow into potential friendships which could end up in marriage. Avoid going into things which are too much like a flirt and which don't mean anything serious. You want to pray before you get into a serious relationship, because it has to be put before God, because He knows what's good for you. And it's not always what's immediately satisfying that's good for you. You want to be careful that it's somebody that you're getting involved in who respects you, who wants your long-term good and not the immediate. And that's not going to be easy, because right now it's difficult to find sure friends. Not only actually for girls, but even actually for boys, because the girls are becoming very light, and I think you know what that means. So just be careful before it happens. The other thing is this: have in mind that that element of a vocation has to be put before the Lord as His own right and His final choice. In a family like this, it can go either way. It can go towards the Lord, and there could be in this family vocations. There could well be in this very room vocations. And therefore that has to be given to Jesus and not held for ourselves. There's nothing more beautiful than to give all one's life to the one that one has come from and is going for forever. But the other one too then is important. If the Lord means me to become somebody who's going to produce other families, other vocations down the line, that's how families bring other vocations to the church, that means I have to have a Christian partner, a domestic church. It's not enough to marry for the sake of marrying. It has to be someone you can share everything with, and that means the soul. You can't share your most precious thing with someone who hasn't anything in common. It's not enough just to have a breadwinner. We're blessed here, this is a true Christian marriage, a domestic church, and you see the difference. A part of the house is given to Jesus, and you can see the influence on the children. There's peace, there's warmth, there's prayer. Jesus is part of this equation. So in that optic, remember, if that's the case, avoid anything which is not in harmony with that. Bad words, tempers, whatever it might be, and even stuff coming into the house which is not good for you, e.g. bad videos or whatever it might be. Be careful of the odd vampire. It's all around. Even Walt Disney is contaminated, they tell me. We'll leave it at that, but I wish you well as you go back to school. Remember now, it's a grace and a blessing to have time to study. It wasn't like that before. Don't waste it. If only you knew the happiness that you have. All these wonderful new facts coming every day. Science, history, knowledge. Use it, enjoy it, but don't waste it.